Let's bring in former federal prosecutor and Fox Rothschild partner, Robert Ray, joining us right now. Good to see you, Robert. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I mean, I guess first let's get your commentary on that. Ginsburg saying this about Trump. Were you surprised, a sitting Supreme Court justice making such comments? Generally,
Supreme Court justices know better than to get themselves involved in the middle of politics. And remember also, a Supreme Court justice is one of 9, but the Supreme Court is the top of Article 3. They're an entire branch of government. As a matter of respect for another branch of government, namely a presidential candidate, they usually know better than to stay out of it. And the truth of it is, what happens if there's a Trump administration? There will be legitimate questions about whether or not she can be fair in a case involving the new administration.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, now we know how she feels about it. And so is there any way she can be fair?
Well, like everything else in this political season, you know, who knows? But people, also, generally speaking, you ought to know better than to imagine what happens when you take on Trump. Trump's going to fire back, and it's not good for anybody, frankly.
But if there is a situation like what happened in 2000 with Gore versus Bush, she would most certainly have to recuse herself, would she not, if the decision about who our next president is falls in the Supreme Court's hands?
Well, we don't know, what would happen until it actually happens, but that's why you don't make statements like that, because someone could reasonably question, at least as an appearance, whether you could be fair, which raises, recusal issues. That's why you stay out of it, and that's why, generally speaking, Supreme Court justices don't make political comments.
Would you do that to yourself?
No, you're just
setting yourself up for
you're complicating your situation going forward. It's a mistake.